Marvel's Spider-Man is an all-time classic, with many people considering it the very best Spider-Man game, and some going as far as to call it the best superhero game ever made. And for a good reason. I mean, it has so much going for it: a great story, stunning visuals, an incredible soundtrack, and great gameplay. But one of the other elements that makes it such a special game is the attention to detail from Insomniac Games. And in today's video, we're taking a look at 10 such insane details in Marvel's Spider-Man. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the comment section below, and hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. In what can only be described as a throwaway scene,
not good. Can't have people taking pictures of my 3 chest hairs.
yes, Peter Parker mentions the fact that he only has 3 chest hairs. Well, the crazy thing is that if you 100%ed the game and unlock the Undies suit, then go into photo mode and zoom in on his chest, you will then notice that he indeed does have only 3 chest hairs. And no, don't ask me how, why, and when this detail was discovered. The next detail just shows the lengths that Insomniac Games went to make sure to have the most immersive world possible. When fighting any of the game's rocket launcher enemies, by pausing during the rocket launching sequence and zooming in on the rocket itself, yes, you will spot the insane detail that apparently these rockets should, and if you played the game, you know that the emphasis here is on the word should, exterminate spiders. Well, maybe all of these bad guys need to look into a refund. One of the most beloved versions of the web crawler is his symbiote or black suit variant, and Marvel's Spider-Man actually makes a few references to the beloved suit. First, Detective Yuri Watanabe makes a cheeky remark in the following scene.
Now that you quit smoking, what do you tell people when you come up here?
That I need a break from their crap.
Fair enough. So, why'd you call? Need a date to the policeman's ball?
You got a black and white suit? No ball this year anyway.
Obviously referring to the black costume for Spider-Man here. And then additionally, when looking through several of the windows across the city, you can actually spot the symbiote Spider-Man in action figure form on display on the bookshelves seen through the windows. Now, even though we didn't get the symbiote suit in Marvel's Spider-Man, obviously we will be getting that in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which I'm very excited for. In most video games, elements like a random social media feed would just be a throwaway element, but in Marvel's Spider-Man, even the in-game social media feed presents storytelling elements. When looking at one of the social media feeds, you can clearly spot an account by the name of JJ in Space. The mere presence and content presented by this account seems to not just confirm that J. Jonah's son exists in this world, but the fact that he is currently indeed in space, as the name says, JJ in Space. And this is particularly important because in several iterations of the Spider-Man mythos, it is him who ends up bringing back the Venom symbiote from one of his space escapades. So will he play a factor in future games? Uncle Ben is a pivotal figure in Peter Parker's life, and although we never actually get to meet this world's Uncle Ben, the cool thing is that we do actually get a glimpse at what Ben Parker in this world looks like. All you need to do is head on over to the Feast organization and then right for Aunt May's office, where you will actually spot a really wholesome image framed and proudly displayed, an image of Ben Parker and the star of the show, Peter Parker, with a bit of a flashback to what seems like a bonding moment where Ben was teaching him some carpentry skills. And speaking of skills, I'd like to take a quick moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, and that would be the lovely folks over at Skillshare. If you're like me, you're always seeking to learn more. It is one of my absolute favorite pastimes. It feels so fulfilling to be able to continuously improve in either skills that I already have, or if I'd like to acquire new ones. Being able to learn and gain new insight from fellow YouTubers like Marquez Brownlee, aka MKBHD, has been an absolute blast. One of my absolute favorite features is the fact that I can actually see other fellow members commenting on classes that we're taking together, making it feel much more interactive, and it gives you even that much more things to consider as you're learning these new skills. I hope I'm not alone in saying this, but imposter syndrome is very real. And one of my absolutely favorite curated playlists on Skillshare works on developing your creative confidence. It is an absolutely treasure trove of classes and knowledge. And so I'm extremely excited to say that the first 1,000 people who click the top link in the description will actually get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So dive on in, get to learning. Dr. Morgan Michaels plays one heck of a pivotal role in Marvel's Spider-Man, being the architect behind the devastating GR27 project, better known as Devil's Breath. But one of the details that is most commonly missed by many players is that Dr. Morgan Michaels is actually a common alias for one Michael Morbius. Yes, that Morbius.
It's Morbin time.
So could Morbius the living vampire be making an appearance in Marvel's Spider-Man 2? I guess time will tell. This next detail is quite depressing and sad, so I guess prepare your tissues, because in Marvel Spider-Man, not only can you go and visit the grave of the previously mentioned Uncle Ben throughout the game in order to pay your respects to the man, but additionally, after the events of the game and the tragic passing of Aunt May, you can head back over to the graveyard to spot that now both May's and Ben's gravestones sit adjacent to one another. Both romantic, but then at the same time, obviously, incredibly sad. Spider-Man, just like many other beloved heroes, does not kill his enemies. Hey, I never said that he doesn't hurt them. Well, it seems like Insomniac was aware that some people were going to put that theory to the test because they actually built a system that really left no doubt about whether or not Spidey kills, particularly when fighting enemies on the rooftops of New York. Because when defeating, or I guess yeeting, an enemy off to the ground below, they will actually instead be instantly zapped and webbed to the closest wall to avoid taking the massive tumble below. One of the most beloved monikers for Spider-Man is of course the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I feel like this detail in Marvel's Spider-Man captures that wonderfully.
Him? Not just a serious...
With style. Hey, Spidey, thanks for not bailing on us.
The fact that you could web swing your way through beautiful New York is obviously wonderful. However, making your way down onto the ground and interacting with the citizens of New York is such a cool detail, and I really do feel like that is one of the details that captures the whole motif of Spider-Man being New York Spider-Man and capturing that whole neighborhood feel for the web crawler. Norman Osborn is a huge fan favorite, and if you're a Spider-Man fan like myself, you know that when Norman appears, the Green Goblin can't be too far behind. And the same seems to be true in Marvel's Spider-Man. Not only does the game do a great job of establishing Norman himself, but they also tease some iconic elements of the Green Goblin suit and gadgets throughout the game. During the penthouse mission, MJ discovers this schematic that showcases a helmet as well as a glider of some sort, which would definitely fit the bill for one Green Goblin himself. It's also really cool that you can actually see some code names for the device that we're looking at, and the code name is ASM14. And for those of you that are still scratching your head going like, hey, what does that exactly mean? Well, that would be Amazing Spider-Man 14. And the significance of that issue is the fact that it was actually the very first appearance of Green Goblin. So that cannot be a coincidence. And things get even more exciting when MJ puts on the helmet, because that is when you spot a lot of different Green Goblin Easter eggs. In the top left corner, you can see that this device is actually connected to some type of a glider tech piece. Straight down the center, you can see a code name which says GG 14071964, and that would be, of course, Green Goblin. That's the GG part. 14 would be the issue number, and 071964 would be the month and the year of the debut of Green Goblin. And that's not even all, because in the top right corner, you can see an icon that certainly resembles what looks like a pumpkin bomb. In fact, when MJ makes her way into the hidden room inside of Osborn's penthouse...
What are these things? Prototype hand grenades?
Yes, she discovers what seem like prototype versions of those iconic weapons that the Green Goblin uses. And finally, inside of Norman's penthouse, there is also this display of 4 masks, one of which looks very ominously a lot like a classic warped design of the Green Goblin himself. making some people believe that that might actually be a bit of a teaser once again for Norman's connection to the Green Goblin. So there you have it, guys. 10 incredibly cool details in Marvel's Spider-Man, and I'm of course aware that there are plenty more to discover and explore. If you guys would like to see another video like this for Marvel Spider-Man, as well as one maybe for Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, as I mentioned at the top, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, huge thank you to today's sponsor for today's video, and that would be Skillshare.